I've begged them. I've been on the housing list now for 4.5 years to be moved because of the state of the house, and they won't because they're keeping the houses for the people around Thornlow North. There's only 3 properties left, and they've had the chance to get a house, and they won't move us.
The problem is the bungalows and houses have just been thrown up. We have workmen out every other month. Cracks, doors, windows, everything.
My council is East Durham Homes. Now, I've been living in my property for 5.5 years, which is riddled with damp, and I have a bug infestation. Now, they won't do nothing about it, and I've been on at them for 5 years to get this problem sorted.
And as far as repairs are concerned, I think if you pay full rent, you don't get nothing. If you're on the social security, you get everything.
The immediate priority, I think, for me and the people running East Durham Homes is to get 3 stars. That is to, next year when we are re-inspected by the Audit Commission, to get the top rate, which is 3 stars. We will then qualify for additional funding to achieve a decent home standard. And we have partners lined up, contractors, to get the housing up to par.
We need a new house, we need to build new estates, especially for children, that's the next generation. I mean, the majority of the houses now, people are buying, and what's going to happen to them when they get to like our age, starting families? There's going to be nothing left in the village for them.
What we need is starter houses for people to buy or rent.
I think the problem in most rural communities is that they're allowed to die. They're not allowed to sort of develop. If there's adequate infrastructure within the village, schools, post offices, buses, etc., then they should be allowed to expand and develop and not have to be forced to move away.
42% increase in over 80s over the next 10 years. Also, 70% of older people are in owner-occupied houses, and that will increase to 80% by 2011. A third of the district live on their own, of all age groups, and we have over 500 elderly people aged between 50 and 99.
In the Easington area, really, historically, we didn't have a homelessness problem. We had adequate stock. Over recent years, that's changed, and I think we had something like 700 families present as homeless last year. That's decreased this year because we put a lot of preventative measures in. But there is problems with housing people in the locality where they're from.
The biggest problem is certainly the dwindled population of the village.
We used to have a very strong community, but due to lack of housing, it's gone.
My brother put in for a house 3 years ago. He works for himself. His girlfriend works as well. And because basically they're not on the sick or mentally ill or pregnant, they couldn't get one. 3 years down the line, they still haven't gotten one, and they now rent in a private house.
We now have less houses than we've ever had. Council housing district, we probably have twice as many staff as we ever had.
Every time you look out the window, there's another house getting pulled down.
Well, the few remaining houses are in dreadful condition. We have 129 people on the waiting list, and we have 9 properties available for letting. We have lost 291 properties in the last 10 years through demolition.
If we get a large development like on one of the ex-colliery sites, you'll be lucky if you get a developer building 20% social stock because of their margins for return. That, in terms of supply, won't deliver on the need that's required for the resident population that we've got at the moment that does require modern social housing stock.
Elements of the stock in the social sector, particularly the sort of council housing, where we've got a high proportion of properties currently failing the government's decent home standard, which sets a challenge in itself. And in the private sector, with the old colliery housing, we've got a lot of properties which are really coming towards the end of their useful life as structures.
When you hear about even council houses, ex-council houses going for 80 and 90,000 pounds, you know, at one time that would have been something which we would have thought somebody had gone crackers.
I bought my council house 15 years ago, and I've lived in it for 54 years. And there's only me and my elderly neighbour left now. She's a council tenant, which will be moving shortly. But I just have to fight to save my house. I just want to stay here. You know, it's private development. It's all private development on this side. No social housing, and I don't see why I should have been put in this situation to actually give my house up for another person to live on my property.
From time to time, we do come across households where what the council is able to offer is not immediately acceptable. We're not at this stage looking to evict. It's a case of trying to find a solution.
George Wimpey North East were very interested in the village as a whole. They want to take the whole village on, and they have a vision for it to bring all sorts back into the village, what's gone in the past. They want recreation, they want new housing, affordable housing, they want people that come from other parts of the country to move back in the village. And they are there now, and they having talks with Easington District Council, hopefully trying to do something about it before it gets too bad.